Hello, folks. It is once again a Wednesday. That's Hammer Away Day, and this is the time. It varies sometimes, but lately it's been now. So, welcome back. Episode 78. What do you think about that?
Can you dig it? Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
I'll tell you what. We are quickly coming up on episode 100. I mean, not like quickly like next week, obviously, if we can count from 78 to 100. It's not going to be happening straight away, but it's going to be happening soon. And I can actually tell you right now, it's slated for July. So let's build our way up from there. We've got plenty of cool people we're going to be talking to and checking in with some folks that have been on the show before. I was talking the other day to our good buddy Sam from the Midnight Devils, and Mr. Spade was ready to chat with me. I just am at the end of the huge project. So they were actually on tour on the East Coast at the time, played my friend's hometown. It's kind of wild over there in South Carolina. So kind of weird and wild stuff when I found out where my friend lived exactly, because I didn't have his address until just recently. So keep the whistle wet. And it's great to be here again today. You guys saw the name of this. I'll put it back up. You heard me. I bought this record for the cover. And I'm like, what? No one does that. Yes, they do. Yeah, we do. As I said in the description, it is a matter of, the things that catch our eye. We all like pretty things and albums, man. The 12 by 12 album cover, that thing catches your eye. We all get caught by different things. For some it's photography. For some, like myself, who love to illustrate, it's the illustration artwork that really gets us, or paintings or something like that. For me, I'm a huge fan of Frank Frazetta, Boris Vallejo, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in length at a different time. But as for today, this is the beginning. This is, as I said, it's volume 1. These are just some of the albums that popped off at me, and we're going to do them in alphabetical order. I've got the physical pieces right here, and then and it's just to prove that I've got them. Some of these you've already seen on here, though, but just for those of you who are newly joining, these are vinyl that I do have, that I've had for years. And some are, one of them, at least today, is one that I bought many years ago, was not a part of the MAVA case, which is the mysterious alien vinyl abduction case, where they just disappeared. But no, some of these are, one of these today is one that I purchased back when it came out. And I'll tell you the whole story on that shortly when we get to it. All right. So first of all, I'll make sure I'm not missing anything. I have some text here and things that I want to make sure that I cover. But in the meantime, let's get back to here and say hello to Salvatore. What's up, Salvatore? It's good to have you, as always, today. Good. In the movie, they were talking about the in England, that good afternoon. I suppose it is how you say it, I suppose, right? Good afternoon means, not something so nice. So anyway, I actually, after work today, I was kind of slowing down a bit, and I'm like, I might have to go home and have a kip before I do anything else. And then I'm like, no, I got a show to do today. I can't have a kip. So anyway, let's start off with, I've got some pictures here. This is going to show you pretty well. One of the first ones, I bought this album because of the cover. That is a wonderful Frank Frazetta painting of Conan on the edge of this mound of snow. To me, it always looked like it was a cliff's edge, but looking closer, it's not necessarily a cliff's edge. But Um, it could be, though. That's the way I've always seen it. And they were, and these two warriors are coming at him with their battle axes, and he with a sword. And he's obviously caught the one to the right in the neck. You can see the blood on the end of Conan's sword there, and it could be the death dealer. I think this is Conan. This appeared on a Conan book that I have, and so that's the way I always see it. And you can see he's caught the one on the right in the neck as the other one's getting ready to strike. He's got his shield ready to roll. So yeah, so this is one I picked it up as a cutout, and really enjoy it. It's, as far as hard rock, classic rock, it's definitely an eclectic record. This is the one. It's Kenny Aronson is the bass player in this band, Mark Bell, and then Richie Wise. It's produced and arranged by Kenny Kerner and Richie Wise, and there's other things to that backstory, but Pull Away so many times, Walk in the Soft Rain, Thusly Spoken, Learning to Die. All in all, I've been thinking, Ivory, which is an instrumental track, How Many Horses, and Suicide. There are some real heavy hitters, including Suicide and Ivory. In fact, I learned Ivory. I forgot about that. I learned Ivory on bass years ago. And Learning to Die, Pull Away is just, these are really hard-hitting, great classic rock songs. The other songs are great as well. They're just not in that same vein. So that's what I mean. It's a bit of an eclectic hard rock classic album. But Dust, Heart Attack, such a great record. Then next, going in alphabetical order, The Gods, not to be confused with Gods, which Ken Hensley was a part of that. This is The Gods. I know I've talked about these guys here, but this is one where I was going through the cutouts and I saw this cover and I fell in love with it. I'm like, I flipped it over the back. I wish I had the back here too, but like I said, it's a bunch of biker looking guys and it looked like a lot of fun. So sure enough, I picked that one up and have since picked up another copy. So there we go. It seemed like there was something about this with the, yeah, it was produced by Don Brewer of Grand Funk. So that's pretty cool. And it's an interesting record, and it's on Millennium Records, which I only knew Millennium Records from like Miko, not Migo, but Miko, who did disco versions of, at the time he was doing disco versions of Star Wars, the Superman theme, these kind of things. He was taking these orchestral pieces from movies and making them into a disco thing. So pew, 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 lots of that kind of stuff, you know. It's kind of funny, silly, weird stuff. So anyway, The Gods, if you haven't checked it out yet, please do. Also check out their album. I think it's called Mongols, I think is the name of it. And I was totally unaware of any other albums by those guys until within the last 7 years. And I enjoyed their other stuff. It's great. It's great. Now, here's one that this is the one that, since we're going in alphabetical order, I won't save it till the end, but this is the one that I purchased years ago. And it was at a time in the late 70s when vinyl wasn't being printed very well. And it wasn't, I mean, sure. Okay. Let's just say, you know, one of these days I'm going to have somebody on here that really knows about vinyl. And it's going to be soon, because I have a friend of mine who has a relative that is in the record business and has been for many years, and knows a lot about the different pressings and the different vinyl usages and which ones are good and which ones you should watch out for, things like this. So I'm looking forward to learning more about that, and hopefully with retaining that information as well. It's one thing to get it. It's another thing to retain it. So anyway, this is one of my favorite album covers of all time. All time. I definitely bought this for the cover. Look at this. It's beautiful. Trillion. This album, there's two things about this album. One thing, I'm a little embarrassed. Okay. I'm a little embarrassed about it. This was produced by Gary Lyons, and it's kind of a progressive pop album, but fantastic, beautiful harmonies, and it's just it's a great record. I didn't appreciate it at the time for what it was. That kind of a thing was different for me, and I bought it, and the vinyl, it was skipping, so I took it back and exchanged it, and then that one skipped as well. Now, I have another album that I really enjoyed that the same thing happened. It was Three Hearts by Bob Welch. Same time frame, and this is 1978, I believe, is what that one is. It's Trillion, I believe that's right. And just a great album, though. I've repurchased it. Now I have the remaster on CD with the extra tracks and stuff. It's fantastic. So do check out Trillion. That first album is great. Their other stuff is good too, but this one is beauty. It's a beauty. And Gary Lyons on production. Come on, lots of great classic albums by Gary Lyons. Lastly, is something that that I bought because of the cover, and it's a great record, and I just talked about it last week. But just thinking about it while it was already out, I'm like, I bought that one for the cover, so I figure 4 to get started. That's a great number. So I am going to highlight this album right here. Another great one, produced by Chris Sangarides, Tigers of Pantang, The Cage. I love tigers, and I bought this thing because it was great. I'm like, wow, the logo is fun. It looks cool, and tigers, awesome. And they're painting the bars in front. That was a cool little illusion at the time when I was looking at that. So you already know I own that one. There you go. And like I said, I didn't see it. It listed John Sykes on there, and I don't know why, because I don't find anything on there that says that. But there's always those things that maybe I don't know that yet. So if you have any insights, folks, let me know. Text me in here. Now, I have a couple of albums that I had to pull, and I'm also going to do this for any time that I do this kind of a segment with the albums that I bought for the cover, because I don't know how many there are. I'm getting ready to do this. I have to do this. What did I call it? I got to get all my new vinyl in with all the old, what I've got. So I've got this stack about like this. So I'm going to bring you on that journey with me, and we'll put my records in, put the new ones in, and that means I got to shift everything over, right? So we'll do that. I had a word for it, and I can't think of what it was. If you come up with a good one, let me know. And then, but what I did was I found a couple of albums. I'm going to do this, like I say, each time I do this, that would be albums that I would have bought for the cover, but I already knew the band, so I was going to buy it anyway. But it had this great cover on it. And the first one we have, let's go in alphabetical order again. Let's continue with that. Oddly enough, it's a T band, which is where we end. And that's Thin Lizzy, Jailbreak. If I'd have seen this album cover and didn't know who Thin Lizzy was, there was no way that was going to happen back then. But let's just say that was the case. I'd have bought this record because I love this. I love Jim Fitzpatrick's artwork. Speaks to me. To me, it's very, when I'm looking at this Overlord on the cover, it reminds me of a lot of Marvel comic stuff that I was reading at the time. And Steranko, and this one actually reminds me of somebody specific. Part of it reminds me of John Byrne, and there's other aspects in it in the inking that really remind me of another artist, and I'll figure it out. It's not Perez, even though this album cover is almost as if Jim Fitzpatrick had done a piece by Jack Kirby, because it's got that kind of dynamic to it. But yeah, so there you go. Jailbreak. Love that record, and it is it is a mystery to me as to where my CD went. I bought the remastered CD, and the CD disappeared out of the case. Don't know where it went. Lastly, on those on the album covers, this is something I would have purchased if I didn't know who Uriah Heep was, and I saw this album cover, which has nothing to do with the album itself. But but anyway, let me see. I'm just trying to. Addie Howe is who produced this. That is that's a name that I'm not familiar with that name. Addie Howe, and I've had this all these years. It's 1982, but I saw it on the stand at the record store, and I said Uriah Heep, and I'm like, look at that cover. That's like a demon monkey thing. I don't know, but nasty. But it has nothing to do with the album. The album is fantastic, full of great music, including a track on the rebound that was written. Come on, by Russ Ballard. And they also would do, I think they did another one of his tracks too. So anyway, but yeah, there you go, Abominog. But then I listened to it, I'm like, it's got nothing to do with it. But a great record nonetheless. Check it out if you haven't. You will love it. You will love it. Now, there is a project I want you guys to know about that I've known about it for a little while now, but I just started getting into it, and I want to kind of tell you about it. And that's this one. Ian Gillan and Tony Iommi, they have this Who Cares? And I want to read you a little bit about these guys if you're not familiar. Who Cares was a supergroup formed by Ian Gillan of Deep Purple and Tony Iommi of Black Sabbath in 2011, with the participation of the great number of rock artists as a charity project to raise money to rebuild a music school in, how do you say this, Gyumri, Armenia, after the destruction of the city in the 1988 earthquake in Armenia. The album sold more than 20,000 copies in Europe. I really want to tell you about who all is in this band. Now, the main members that they've got listed here are Ian Gillan, Tony Iommi. John Lord was in the original kind of deal of it back in '88 with that. And Jason Newsted on bass, Nico McBrain, and Mikko Lindy Lindstrom from him on guitars. All right, so that's that. But here's a little bit about the album. Who Cares? It's like Run Together. Who Cares? Full title: Ian Gillan and Tony Iommi. Who Cares? Is a music project. Let's see, and a charity release by a supergroup. Who Cares? They had formed with the help of other musicians to raise money. So, in addition to Ian Gillan and Tony Iommi, many artists took part in the charity music project, including John Lord, Jason Newsted, Nico McBrain, and Mikko Lindstrom. Then, in addition to the 2-track single Out of My Mind, Holy Water, released in 2011, the 2-CD album contains in addition to previously recorded songs from various bands, rarities, and unreleased material as well. The album was released on July 13th, 2012 in Europe, and in North America on the 28th of August, 2012. John Lord died 3 days after the album's release, making it his final recording. Then it's got songs on it: Out of My Mind, Zero the Hero, Trashed, which is a re-recording. Zero the Hero is the original from Born Again. And then Trashed is re-recorded. And Getaway, originally released on ETCM. Okay. I'm not going to try to go through all those names. Slip Away, Don't Hold Me Back, and which was from Ian Gillan earlier on Toolbox. She Think She Think It's a Crime, and that was a Ian Gillan track. It's the first time it's on One Eye to Morocco, but it's the first time on CD. And then Easy Come Easy Go, previously unreleased, and Smoke on the Water live with the London Symphony Orchestra. And let's see here. And Dio appears on that. It's really, really cool. Holy Water, originally released on the Who Cares CD single. Anu Mundi, you know that one from Tear by Black Sabbath. Let It Down Easy. And Hole in My Vest. Can't Believe You Want to Leave Me. Can I Get a Witness? No Laughing in Heaven. When a Blind Man Cries. And the final little piece here, Dick Pimple, which is a studio jam by Deep Purple, originally recorded for a fan club free CD single, previously unreleased. And it's 10-minute jam track. Now, I just told you the main 5 guys also on this release throughout the different things. You got Jeff Nichols, Geezer Butler, Bill Ward, Roger Glover, Ian Pace, Michalis Rakonitz, that must have been who was on Getaway. And then there's also Bob Marlette, Kenny Aronoff, Steve Morris, and Brett Bloomfield, Leonard Hayes on drum on Don't Hold Me Back. That's pretty cool. Leonard Hayes from Y&T. See if there's anybody else really big here in the meantime. Anybody that really jumps out at me. Check them out. You can get all this listing and you can check all these out. Steve Morse is also, not just Steve Morris, Steve Morse is on there, Dave LaRue, and many others. But yeah, check it out. It's different. There's some kind of hard rock pop tunes on there, but then there's some really heavy, cool, heavy stuff. So do check that out. All right. So who cares? Let me get back to you guys here. Hi. And here's some cool photos that I found. There's Ian Gillan and Tony Iommi. Ian Gillan is a tall chap. Here he is with Dio and Klaus Meine. There you go. How about that? I had to show that picture. It was kind of unique, seeing how tall he is as compared to those guys. And hey, how's it going? What is up? Love Thin Lizzy. Yeah. Glad to have you here, Guitar Geo. 73 was a great year too. I love it. Tony has worked with so many people, and it's all killer stuff. You are absolutely right. Some of the stuff he did with Glenn Hughes, smoking great. Really, really cool stuff. Black Sabbath announced their final show this morning. Wow. Thanks for letting me know about that. I'll have to keep tabs on that. That sounds awesome. So yeah, I thought that was a project you might want to check out. Then also look for a couple of other things to look for Black Sabbath wise. And I do have one more thing to show you here. When it comes to Black Sabbath, another thing to keep track of is there is a bootleg out there. I have it over there with Rob Halford sitting in on vocals with Black Sabbath. That's one thing. Then also check out the Ray Gillan tapes that they did years ago. You can usually find that out there as well to listen. You can find it out here on YouTube and check that out. So then I remembered when I was talking about that earthquake release, I remembered that I had that on CD. It's really cool. So you can see there Asia, Free, Boston, Genesis, Rainbow, Starship, White Snake, Black Sabbath, and Rock Aid Armenia, and Mike and the Mechanics. Mike and the Mechanics, kind of interesting being put in there. Well, there's Genesis and all that too. So Rainbow, Starship, yeah. So I just had a funny thought on that. So stick with me on that later. We have an unboxing today. Is that odd? No, it is not. Not odd. Get out my trusty knife. And let's see what we've got. I hope this first box, I hope it's something that that is good for you and I to share. I don't know. We've been ordering so many things for the house and things like that to get things ready and finalized. And we had a issue today, and that got it is for us. It is so for us. Look at this. I went ahead and I did it. Did I have to? Let's not talk about it. Oh, hey, and here's a little hack, because I was talking to people about stuff from Amazon, like boxes from Amazon that have Amazon on it. You can't really use them again as they are. You have to kind of wrap them in something. But how about if you just, now this box I can't because it's like this, right? But turn them inside out. Undo the edge, pull that seam apart, and then flip it inside out and tape it back up that way. Boom. And then it's a plain box on the outside again. Boom. Are you ready for this? I just got these. These were like a new updated version. I own pretty much all of these, but I don't have open fire. But there you go. The earthquake, Y&T earthquake, A&M years 81 to 85. Look at that. I still have yet to meet Dave Meniketti. I met up with Leonard Hayes years ago at the NAMM show, and Joey Alves, of course. I think I may have told you that story. If I haven't told you, I can tell you at some point. Kurt, what's up, buddy? How you doing? I'm looking forward to getting me some more gigs booked. I got one more thing to open up for you guys here, and I think this is something that I got the other day, and I held on to it. I was almost going to do a quick little opening thing, but I was so busy with the house. I was like, no. On Blu-ray, Bruce Lee, The Big Boss, and Fists of Fury. You gotta love all that stuff. Fist of Fury. It's just Fist of Fury. It's not fists, plural. So I finished up watching the Circle of Iron, and this time it held up. It held up to me, and then I listened to the audio commentary, which was pretty cool. To listen to that. Now, it was originally called The Silent Flute. Who knew? Written by James Coburn and Bruce Lee. And they changed a few things around, added a few things later, some more humor into it and things like that. But it was an interesting film. It held up better this time because I don't know if my head was just in a better spot for it. I think before I was like, oh, this is going to be great. I remember when I was a kid and this was awesome. It was on cable. And I was like, what the hell? This is kick ass. And then you watch it and it's a little slower, but it's still good. Some parts are, over dramatic sometimes. But overall, though, a much better film than I remembered it being. So the Big Boss and Fist of Fury. There it is. That is the fist right there. Now, I already have something I'm going to talk about next week, and I don't want to divulge it yet, but it's got to deal with Broadway. So it's something I just found out today. But this is all of the, like I say, this is all the A&M stuff, and then it's got a CD full of extra stuff. And so I own all these. I own all of these on vinyl, most of them, not all of them, because like I say, I never got Open Fire. I never did get that on vinyl. And then this album that's got some rarity stuff on it too. So that's pretty cool. All right. Next, I want to go through this bit that was basically it's about the Grammys that just happened. And you have I suppose you pronounce it Chappell Roan. I mean, maybe I'm butchering that. I don't know. Who knows? But anyway, that's the way it looks to me. Celebrates win for Best New Artist by calling out record labels. So this is something that I've talked about before, with the record industry, and they may seem like if we all just look at it and just think, okay, what the record industry, is it a necessity? Sure, it's a necessity if you're going for a certain thing, or you want to be mega promoted, but we've seen it burn a lot of people. because, like Geffen, watching the David Geffen movie, I really enjoyed that, and it kind of gives you this flow of understanding when somebody gets started. Like even if myself, if I started to do that now, I just love talking to musicians. I'm a musician. I love helping musicians if I can, and that's where I hope there can be a better solidarity building up here in my area, where we can get together now and again and have bands play together, and book a gig together, so that way you can even go so far as to have the which band is going to open and which band is going to finish the night. But in the middle, you merge those two bands and do a few songs together. Then the other band goes or stays and watches, whatever. But I've got that thing that I would love to do. But you start off as a person who just loves it and loves the music and wants to help people who are talented. You get them going. Well, then business grows, right? You become a name, and then you become somebody who can really make a ton of things happen, right? So it becomes more of a business. And is there as much care and compassion to each artist? As business grows, then it's tougher to do that. So I get it. But at the same time, it's like, you know, they make promises to market you and for which they want to return. Not only them, people you never see want to return, right? So it becomes a nasty little business. Then they shove you through. If you're that popular, they're going to shove you into everything. And after a while, you're like, I don't want to do this on that day. Well, that's too bad. You signed your contract, and that's where you got to be, and when you got to be, and how long you got to be, and what you have to do. And that's not easy. I wouldn't deem that as an easy thing. So anyway, here is Chappell here on stage at the Grammys. And she had this, kind of a big statement. This is from an NBC writer, Rebecca Cohen, came out on the 2nd. And it says, Roan, known for being outspoken, stayed the course with her acceptance speech for Best New Artist. So let's get into what they were saying here. This photo here that you're seeing, that is by Kevin Winter from the Grammy Awards, the 67th annual Grammy Awards. 67. So I showed up in the world and at the 7th one, I guess. I don't know. 7th, right? I don't know how that one works. So it's been the year of Chappell Roan, fresh off a record-breaking festival circuit. Roan secured the Grammy for the Best New Artist Sunday night. Roan, known for being outspoken, stayed the course with her acceptance speech after she offered a host of thank yous. She fulfilled a promise to herself. I told myself, if I ever won a Grammy and I got to stand up here in front of the most powerful people in music, I would demand that the labels and the industry profiting millions of dollars off of artists would offer a livable wage and health care, especially to developing artists. Roan began, reading from a diary. So, having already rotated through a few outfits just halfway through the Sunday's ceremony, Roan wore a sizable cone hat on stage. It promptly fell off as she began her speech with a giggle. As she continued, Roan talked about her experience being signed as a minor and how she got dropped from her label with zero job experience under my belt. And like most people, I had a difficult time finding a job in the pandemic and could not afford health insurance. She said it was so devastating to feel so committed to my art and feel so betrayed by the system and so dehumanized to not have help. Roan said that if her label prioritized her and other artists' health, I could have been provided care by a company I was giving everything to. To wrap up, Roan said record labels need to treat their artists as valuable employees with a livable wage and health insurance and protection. Labels, we got you, but do you got us? She concluded. Her speech got the crowd on their feet and drew loud applause and cheers throughout. with musical peers clearly in support of her words. Roan's album, The Rise and Fall of Midwest Princess, dominated charts this year and skyrocketed her to fame in a matter of months. She drew massive crowds at music festivals, and her loud and unique style turns heads on every red carpet. The Rise and Fall of Midwest Princess earned Roan a nomination for Album of the Year Sunday night. Her single, Good Luck Babe, is up for Record and Song of the Year. She was also up for Best Pop Solo Performance and Best Pop Vocal Album, but did not win. So there you go. Um, so that's where we are on that. So I it's a tough one. Not quite sure where where I stand on all of that. It is tough. It's a rough thing in the industry when, and I can only I just stand back here and look. I'm just going by the different stories that I've heard, the different experiences that I've watched. There's a million moments of uh, happiness that I've never experienced, never seen, never been there to see that. And there's horrid things that I'm sure that I know I've never seen, but some of which I've heard about. But it's yeah, I mean that's not a bad idea if that's a goable way for them to do those, if those are things that they can do. It's true. I mean, they take and take and take, and a lot of that takes its toll. And they should probably be more responsible if that's what they're going to do to a person, because this isn't an object. Hey, I'll just take my phone and I'll sell the crap out of it. I can put it wherever I want, show it to whoever I need at any time of the day. It's a machine. It's a piece of something. It's media, but it's different when you got a person, and there needs to be, I would say there needs to be some care and, oh, what's the words I'm looking for? I'm not always good at that when I'm here at the moment. So anyway, there needs to be some thought put behind that. So yeah. To wrap up today, I'm gonna get this wrapped up. I'll be back at 7 o'clock, of course, for Go Game Go, and so check us out there. Always, please, always like and subscribe. Hit the like button and then hit the notification so you'll never miss out when I do this right at the last minute. Right. That gets to change pretty soon. That's what I can't wait for. Tonight, I got to take care of a few things. We get our countertops tomorrow. That's awesome. That's something I'm going to talk about here real quick before I go. But it's but anyway, let's move on to that. Our thank yous. I do have some thank yous that I need to take care of. With all of the things that we've been doing, I just wanted to say a big thanks to Ron and Tim, my buddies, for helping me out with their expertise and help, and also my buddy Steve for his extra help and support, and some of the things he always helps me out with at my house, because he's got that knowledge too. He does a lot of that stuff. To my buddy Jay Joffrey and Heather and Austin at Rock Solid Creations, their team is coming out to put in our countertops tomorrow. They're out there in Chesterfield, Missouri. So thank you very much to those guys. They've made this a real awesome affair to deal with for my countertops, because that was getting frustrating. Countertop buying, that's frustrating. I don't know what you guys, when you're doing something like that or a big project, I don't know what your what the hang up is that you would get in that situation. But man, the countertops, what kind do you get? And then if you get if you get stone, what kind of stone do you get? What's your design going to be? How much is it going to cost? That kind of stuff. But in conjunction with that, Corey Thomas and Dave, and all right, so Corey Thomas at C. Bennett. It's a C. Bennett appliance company. They do all kinds of different things, but they're out in Wentzville, and so Corey was really patient with me, and I thought, man, that's crazy. When if you ever look for a piece of appliance, and it's, I don't know, there's a million things that happen with those, and there's a million different designs to get, and you get into one or the other, and it gets confusing. But he stayed very patient with me and helped me out get the right thing. And then Dave and Hugh and James, man, it was like we had a little party going on yesterday when they were in to install. They kept working, and we just were making some small talk in between. It was wonderful. So they took care of me yesterday. So thanks. The fridge looks fan-frickin-tastic. Also, here you go. Here's a new line from Mia, my wife. I want to thank Walmart for allowing us to order a microwave in store from Amazon. That was pretty nice. So I said their new joke greeting would be, "Hi, welcome to Walmart. Can we help you order anything from Amazon?" So yeah, but in fact, probably when I go upstairs, my microwave just might be here. And you know what? I got a couple of really cool things, and I wanted to thank my friends for that. My buddy Tim Hahn gave me this book, The Album Cover Art of Punk. How about that? And I'm going to go back to here. And this is just full of some cool stuff. He had this book hanging at home, and he brought it over to me. He's like, "Would you be interested in this?" I go, "Hell yeah, I would be," because this is some cool stuff. From different parts of the country here, and also from overseas, different punk bands from the years and their album art. So that's really cool. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. So thanks, Tim. Never mind the Bullocks. Where was one that I just saw in here? That one, oddly enough, looked like, yeah, interesting. There was one in here I really liked. That's a classic for me. Maybe I own it. I can't remember what it is off the bat. Anyway. Yeah, I don't know. This one is kind of interesting because it's very much like a Def Leppard cover here, too. Is this, of course, this is an old piece of artwork. Def Leppard with the skull, with the woman at at her vanity. And that was really neat. So they have a whole page of skull stuff. That's pretty cool. The one that was really cool in here too that I loved was the Blondie album cover. There you go. That's a great one. That's a great one. So anyway, thanks again, Tim. That's a great book. He asked me about it today. He goes, "How'd you like that book?" I'm like, "I love it. I love it." Now, also to my friend Jay Joffrey, I'm going to bring this back up again because we were hanging out recently, and he gifted me this. Look at this. It's a smaller vinyl. It's it's really cool. And it's a Blue Note little vinyl. It's the Best of the West. And it's so in its size, it's unique, and I love that fact. But there you go. Volume 1, Best of the West. So I'm eager to listen to that. So thanks again, Jay. I appreciate that. I think that's about it. We did our unboxings. We did all that. So next week, we're going to be talking about a new release that came out. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. I definitely don't want to be a big old jerk about it. And it's not going to be what it sounds like. You just have to understand. Just like, because I'm not saying good or bad. It is what it is. It's different. That's all I'm going to say. And I've talked about it before. So not this particular situation, but I have talked about the theme of it before on the show. So yeah, we'll see how it goes though. I started listening to something today, and we'll see what we think of it, and we'll kind of go from there. But it's different. It's different. Well, hey, folks, thanks for hanging in. Thanks for chiming in. I appreciate all of those who chimed in today. And look forward to being back here and looking forward to getting these countertops in. We'll tell you all about it later. It's the war to end all wars, and it's coming in. And I got a little mess down here. Going to clean that up for my dog so she can be on the show all the time. And then we got some other things that we'll talk about. But there'll be some things in between. So be ready. Take it easy, folks.
Can you dig it?